Hey everybody, and welcome to the channel. We're excited to get the 2022 season rolling. But before we jump right in, don't forget to take a second to hit that like and subscribe button to follow us this season. Okay, now that we got all that out of the way, let's get a little background and talk about our goals for going into 2022 wash season. Just so everyone's aware, I don't officially consider the season started until March 1st. I do wash all year long, but because things really slow down a good bit in October-ish, November to March, consider my season to be March through October. So I started this business officially in April of last year, but was doing some hit and miss washing prior to that. When I got started, it was me, my truck, and a pressure washer. No lettering on the truck, no shirts, nothing but some terrible designed business cards that I did on Vistaprint. I'm definitely not a graphics design professional. I started with friends and family, doing a job here and there, sometimes for free just to get content and some recommendations. You know, when you're first starting out, the best thing you can do is hit up friends and family. Take lots of photos, take lots of pictures, before and after shots. Even if you have to, even take on jobs for free just to get that content. Every little bit of content that you can get and share on social media platforms, stuff like that, definitely will go a long way with helping you move your business in the right direction. Once I started getting involved with friends and family, that slowly started to get the word out about my business and what we were offering, and calls started to trickle in. I didn't do much door to door. I was still working full time at another job, and I wanted to spread it by word of mouth. So I just kind of sat back and let people do what they love to do, and that's talk. You know how things get brought up in conversations. Betty told Tammy, and Tammy told Bobby, and so on and so forth. So business picked up enough that I felt comfortable enough to start doing a little advertising after that, mainly on Facebook. I was still operating under a DBA, and I knew if it continued in the right direction, I was going to form an LLC and most likely change the name. So I didn't want to invest too much into marketing materials. So I dove in with a little bit of advertising and started a business page on Facebook. That started to see some progress after a couple weeks, and I started to get some messages come in. I continued in that same approach for a couple months, along with picking up some more friends and family along the way. By this time, business was doing good, and I felt confident enough to make the jump and form my LLC and purchase some better equipment. It was probably April of 21 at this time. I started my search for equipment and forming the business. I started out thinking I was going to build my own trailer, and due to the current situation in the company with COVID, I found out that sourcing all the parts I was going to need to build this trailer was going to be a huge task, and everyone was low or out of stock. So I decided to find a company that would build me a trailer. I had been watching videos for quite some time, became familiar with a couple different companies building trailers, and ultimately I ended up going with a Southeast Soft Wash trailer. I bought a dual axle trailer setup that had 2 soft wash setups and an 8 gallon per minute pressure washer, 200 gallon water tank, 100 gallon bleach tank, and a 30 gallon soap tank, 20-inch surface cleaner. When I picked the trailer up, it was ready to roll. It was ready to work.
Today, whose trailer is this? this guy right here. Tell me how we did. What do you think?
The class was great.
Trailer ain't worth a piss.
No, let's hope it does everything that we look forward to do.
8 gallon.
8 gallons.
Cold water belt drive.
That's right.
Looks pretty clean. So I'm a fan. This is kind of my favorite trailer setup. And then we've got this one here going out next week. This guy couldn't make it today, so another 8 gallon. So training, good? We did all right?
Everything's good on the training. The 101 class, especially if you're getting started, that's definitely the class you want to go through.
Thank you, brother.
It'll explain everything you need to know.
Appreciate it. What's these guys?
I placed my order around April, and it was probably about a 10 to 12 week lead time. So I didn't actually take delivery of the trailer till probably mid-July. Still working out of the back of my truck during that whole time. I also spent more money on marketing materials with the new business info, like door hangers, business cards, half-page flyers, and advertisements on Facebook, and started a Google page. Part of the advertising was to let customers and potential customers know we had new equipment on the way, and we were investing into ourselves, investing into our company. That's one of the biggest things you can do, is put money back into your company, especially if you're working full-time. Take that money and invest it into yourselves, invest it into good equipment, and make that purchase one time instead of having to make those purchases multiple times. Really do your research and research the equipment, and really know which way you want to go. Finally, I got the business all set up, bank accounts opened up, and I took delivery of the trailer, and we were ready to roll. Business picked up more, and I started to do a little face-to-face marketing when I had time. Again, I was still working full-time during all this time. All the way up until about the end of August, I decided that it was better that me and my employer went our separate ways due to some things that I just wasn't happy about. And like that, I was self-employed, pressure washing full-time. I don't encourage anyone to quit their job, but for me, it was the best decision. Now I was able to focus solely on the business, and I knew that's where I wanted things to go ultimately. I had a 2-year plan. I really wasn't ready to jump in it full time, but the situation just arose, and it was just time for me to go my separate way. The business really jumped off to a great start. I was able to take that time and focus it solely on the business, getting out, trying to introduce myself to some different business owners within the community, and getting more involved with the community. And through all that, it's got us to where we are now, and we're fixing to roll into our first full season in 2022. 2022 goals, I'm going to try to be realistic as possible. This is my first season and still a new business. So we have a goal of $75,000 in revenue, and mainly achieving that by continuing what we've been doing, advertising on social media platforms and face-to-face marketing for our commercial side of the business. And face-to-face marketing, I mean, you have to put yourself out there. Otherwise, no one knows who you are, and they don't know what you do unless if you tell them. So you have to put yourself out there. Things used to be the guy with the best products got the job, but now it's the most known guy that gets the jobs. So get out there and talk to people, introduce yourself to new people every chance you get. I have joined couple different organizations in my community to not only be a part of the community, but the exposure I get for the business being involved with those organizations goes a long way as well, especially with the community. You want to give back as much as possible, because ultimately your community is the one supporting you. Those are your customers, are part of your community, so you want to give back where you can give back in those situations. And if you're self-employed, you can set your own schedule and make time to be involved. I'm able to, every Tuesday I have lunch with one of the organizations that I'm involved with from 12 to 1. I mean, you're going to take a lunch every day, so why not use that time wisely to be involved and give back a little bit. We're excited about the 2022 season, and we hope we're going to really make a splash in our community and really let people know we're here this year. I think we did well in 2021. It was still a new business. We were still getting things rolling, trying to find suppliers, trying to get some vendors for different chemicals that we use, and just sourcing different parts that we needed to get started. So our goal this year is to really drive down those operating costs, get more involved with our vendors, try to get some better pricing, buying in bulk, and really driving home the being able to save money everywhere we can save money. We spent a lot of money in 2021, and all for good reason, but we really got to drive those costs down this year. And not only do we want to drive costs down, but we also want to increase our revenue. So we're taking every steps we can to invest into us a little more with advertising. We're considering getting involved with iHeartRadio to do some radio commercials. I believe that'd be a great step forward for us in the 2022 season. And we really just want to expand our audience. We currently are servicing our current area where I live at, but there are a couple counties, surrounding counties, that we also are trying to slowly move our way into, and I've got my targets set on a couple different counties going into the 2022 season that I'm going to focus more on. And there's probably a lot of negativity about going into other counties and stuff, but look, there are a lot of houses out there to be washed, and not everybody can wash them all. So there's plenty of houses out there to be shared. So don't have fears about going into other counties and stepping on other toes. That's not something we're really worried about going forward. I have good relationships with some of the other pressure washing companies that we have around us, and it's worked out good because I've been able to kind of develop some relationships with them. But this was kind of a quick way for us to kind of introduce ourselves and what we're doing. There will be some more videos to come. with the season really not starting until the 1st of March, that's when we'll really be starting to record some content for different jobs that we're doing and different projects we're working on during that time. But I am going to do some videos between now and then for some content on some smaller things. So like and subscribe and stay tuned, because there might be something here for you that we can offer. Hope you'll stick around and like the channel, and we'll see y'all soon.